Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Poor Man Mods. If you're an OG follower, you've already seen me do this. Today we're going to show you how to do a DIY ceramic coat on your turbo manifold and turbo. With my Sentra, a couple years ago, I used this VHT flame-proof ceramic coating on the turbo on my Sentra. A lot of people didn't like the video for some reason, said I did it wrong, so I'm going to be doing the video again. Going to be taking the turbo and turbo manifold off my Supra because I'm doing an EGT sensor. And I figured while it's out, why not ceramic coat it and show you guys how to do it. So the first part is, unfortunately, rip everything out of the Supra. So I've got the manifold here on the table, and it probably looks a little bit different because I did take this to work and sandblast it, which I couldn't film me sandblasting it, but I mean, I don't feel like I need to show you sandblasting it, you just fucking point and shoot. But that's the easiest way to get rid of all the rust. To do this ceramic coating, you need to make this metal as clean as possible. I also sandblasted my turbo, and as you can see, it looks way different. It's really clean. But if you don't have access to a sandblaster, you could either use a wire wheel, and you could wire wheel all the rust off, or if you're a real broke ass bitch, then you could try to hand sand this with sandpaper. That's gonna suck really bad, and that's what I did on my turbo on my Sentra. But doing it on this, I wouldn't recommend using sandpaper on this because it's cast. There's a lot of pores in it, and you can't get all the rust off with sandpaper. I would definitely recommend wire wheeling or sandblasting the turbo housing. Definitely not sandpaper. My turbo started to chip maybe about a year or two later, probably because I couldn't get all the rust off, even though I sandpapered it really well. So if you're gonna do your turbo, wire wheel it or sandblast it. So now that you've wire wheeled it, sandblasted it, sandpapered it, whatever, now you're going to clean this really well. We're probably gonna use brake parts cleaner and use rubber gloves so you don't get any oil on here. You need this to be as clean as possible. We're gonna be using brake parts cleaner to clean this. You can use pretty much anything. Brake parts cleaner, wax and grease remover, acetone, whatever. But make sure if you use brake parts cleaner, don't use the non-flammable stuff. The non-flammable stuff sucks. So use the good stuff that catches fire. And that right there is why you wipe it down. Gotta make sure you get it nice and good in the cooch, the gooch. Gotta make sure it's real clean. Yeah. Here's another trick I learned. I got this from powder coating. Now that you wiped it down with a paper towel, there might be some paper towel little fluff balls and fragments all over it. So you can use a torch and burn it all off. Alright, then you can repeat the same process on the turbo, or if you feel like it. So we're done with the manifold, we're going to do the same thing to the turbo, then we'll tape these bitches up and paint them. Now a lot of you are probably going to tell me to take off this wastegate, but I have it clocked pretty much perfectly, and there's a lot of clearance issues with it, so I'm going to leave the wastegate on so I don't have to mess with it again, but I'm just going to tape it off so I don't paint it. But I'm not taking it off, sorry. You're just gonna have to live with it. Alright, this manifold is ready for paint. Alright, so we're ready to paint the manifold. We're gonna paint this with 2 light coats and then 1 medium coat. If you do it all in one shot, it's probably gonna run, which you don't want because you want it to look good. So do 2 very light coats, give some time in between, and then a medium coat. And look, Tony decided to do his manifold for the SR240 as well. So we did the 1J manifold, the 1J turbo, and the SR manifold. But stop, collaborate, and listen. That's gonna be so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. But so it's all painted, but stop, don't touch it. It dries to touch in an hour, cures to handle, or dries to handle in 3 hours. So let it sit and dry, but then you're not done. It needs to go through a curing process, which you can either do with an oven, or you can put it on the car and do it. But I'm gonna use my oven that I use for powder coating, and I'll show you guys how to do that. It's important to note this stuff is pretty nasty. It is the ceramic coats, there's shit in the air other than paint. So you wanna do it in a paint booth or in a well-ventilated area, and ideally even wear a respirator or a mask or something. We didn't wear a mask, but we're at least in a paint booth with big-ass exhaust fans and filters, so we didn't breathe anything in, but this is nasty, so definitely don't just do this in your garage with no airflow or something. Do it safe. So once you have everything painted, you need to cure it with heat cycles. You can't just throw it on and start using it. I guess you can, but it won't last that long. So there's two ways of curing it. You can either bake it in an oven, like I'm doing right now, or you can put it on the car. I'm not sure which is better, if anyone is better. But if you're going to use an oven, I would recommend not using the one you used to cook and eat with. This is my powder coating oven, so it's for all this kind of dirty industrial painting stuff, so this won't be eaten out of. But if you're going to cook it to cure it, you need to cook it 3 times. You're going to do 250 for 30 minutes, let it cool for 30, 400 degrees for 30 minutes, then let it cool for 30, then 600 degrees for 30, and then let it cool for 30, and you're good to go. But if you're going to put it on the car, I don't remember the exact steps, but I did do a video. The first video I did on this, I did on the car. So click right here, one of these somewhere, link down below. I'll have a video of how to do it with it on the car. But for this setup, I'm going to be using my oven. Then once it goes through a couple heat cycles, we'll pull it out of the oven and it can go on the Supra. Alright, so we got the turbo and the manifold on. They're both looking fantastic. This stuff, it's super easy to do. It's basically paint, you know. Just make sure it's clean, make sure there's no rust, just like your typical paint. Then either bake it off the car or on the car, and you're good to go. A lot of people might say, oh, well, it's not real ceramic coat, which you're right. It's not a 100% legit professional ceramic coat, but it's absolutely better than nothing. There are particles in the paint. It's not just regular high temp paint. So it is good stuff, but it's still not the best. And for 10 or 12 bucks, however much the can is, you can't really beat it. So it looks awesome. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you didn't see my previous video, I'll have a link down below so you can watch the other one. Yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you guys use this stuff. Let me know if you've had any luck or bad luck with it. I've had good luck with it, and it looks pretty awesome. So hopefully it doesn't flake off. And I'm sure I will keep you guys posted on that. I post pictures of this car pretty often. So, hope you liked this video, hope you learned something, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.